Hi everyone, Chad Shoup here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about using the right tools to get the job done in the stock market, because when it comes to investing there are hundreds of tools that you could be using depending on what your outcome that you want is. So depending on what you're trying to do in the markets, that's going to dictate what kind of tools you should be using to get to that outcome. So today I'm going to talk about one particular outcome, and that's hedging against your risk. So I'm going to talk about different ways to hedge, and one that's very popular right now but may not be the right tool to get the job done. But before I jump into that, I just want to make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, that you scroll below, that you click subscribe, so that way you get an update whenever I send a new video out. Now, before I jump into my topic today about hedging the stock market, I want to know what your thoughts are on hedging. With the volatility that we've seen lately, did you hedge before the market risk started to pick up, or after the market volatility picked up? When did you hedge, and do you even care to hedge at all? You can comment below, scroll below, leave me a comment, and I'll be sure to reply to you. So now when it comes to hedging in the stock market, there are hundreds of tools that you can use to do just that, depending on what you are hedging. So today we're going to be talking about just hedging in general, hedging your core stock market portfolio. So that's going to be a long portfolio, and what you can do to hedge that. So some traditional ways to hedge that are to use put options against the S&P 500. That'll give you this inverse relationship between your hedge in your stock portfolio, or you can short certain stocks or short the S&P 500 ETF, the SPY. So you can use those two as your main forms of hedging against the market risk to your bullish overall portfolio. But another one that's been picking up lately is Bitcoin. A lot of people have been talking about Bitcoin as an uncorrelated asset that you can use to either hedge your market risk or just to diversify your assets. But I want to caution you today that you cannot look at Bitcoin as a hedge or even an uncorrelated asset, because Bitcoin is nothing short of just a speculative bet in the stock market. It's a very high risk, very volatile trade, and if you're holding Bitcoin, you have to understand that it is not a place just to park cash or capital instead of in stocks or in the market, because that's going to be a very extremely volatile position for you, maybe more volatile than what you would expect. And if you're thinking that the benefits of that is that it's uncorrelated or that it'll hedge, well, let's think again, because when we go back to the beginning of 2018, about a year and a half ago, Bitcoin prices collapsed, and that collapse is really what set off the market crash that we saw at the beginning of 2018 as well. So Bitcoin in the stock market were falling in tandem for a couple of months during that period because of the Bitcoin price collapse. That was a big factor in some of those high-flying tech stocks being pushed lower during that time frame. And now when you look back to December of 2018 last year, we had another major stock market correction in the month of December, and during that correction, Bitcoin also tumbled even way more sharply than the stock market. But if, let's say, during these two time periods that you were holding Bitcoin as a hedge or as an uncorrelated asset, well, you didn't get that result in those two situations. Instead, you saw Bitcoin prices tumble along with your stock market shares. So that's a great example of why you do not want to use Bitcoin as a hedge, and you have to keep in mind that it is just a bet on the directional movement of that cryptocurrency itself, not a way to diversify out of the stock market. It is a different asset class. Just know that it is way more aggressive and a lot more volatility in that than the typical stock market. And I know that from day to day, Bitcoin in the stock market are going to be uncorrelated. They are going to act as a hedge sometimes, but it's important to point out that over the last couple of years, during these major moves for the stock market, and specifically the major moves lower, which is when you would want the hedge to kick in, we've seen Bitcoin prices tumble. So that's your case study on why you should not use Bitcoin as a hedge or think of it as an uncorrelated asset. Well, that's all for my video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Be sure to leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And if you want to read more about different ways to hedge in this market and what my thoughts are on Bitcoin, then be sure to scroll below and click the link to read the full article on our website. Well, until next time, this is Chad Shoup.